Hello YouTube and welcome back to a very special episode of 5 true Reddit horror stories. Except this episode isn't exactly gonna be 5 stories, and not all of them are exactly gonna be true. And not all of them are from Reddit either. So we're gonna keep the title here just for consistency's sake, but yeah. This is going to be a bit of a different episode, just to warn you guys. Now, what exactly is the theme of today's video? Well, of course, if you're watching this, I am hoping that it is going to be posted on February 14th, which to some of you is Singles Independence Day. But to the vast majority of other people on the planet, this would be, of course, Valentine's Day. So we are going to be reviewing some very spooky and horrifying Valentine's Day / dating and romance stories for you to enjoy here on your night alone on February 14th. Now, I do have 4 different stories from Reddit, and I actually opened a channel up on our Discord server this time around, and I have let you guys submit some of your stories for us to review here today. So I chose a couple of them. I think these ones are pretty entertaining. So you guys get some sort of contribution in this, but if you guys do enjoy the content, of course, do remember, like, comment, subscribe. Join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Anthony Chen. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these episodes in the future as well, of course. Always have fun doing these, so let me know if you guys enjoy them. But without further ado, let us begin with story number 1, which is actually from Reddit, and this is from r/JapanLife, posted by far_conclusion853, and it is simply called "Bad Tinder Match Threatening to Sue for Defamation." Now, already off of the road, this is a crazy title, bro, but TLDR, I think I stepped in crazy. What do I do? Matched on Tinder and moved the conversation to Line. After messaging for a day, decided to video chat using Google Meet. Yes, I realized in hindsight this was an error. Google Meet? Okay. Spoke for a few hours and had a good time. No sparks for me, but she seemed clever and funny. Mentioned she was a human rights lawyer and wanted a family, and that the last boyfriend led her on for 5 very fertile years and left her. She was obviously greatly hurt by this. I openly discussed being separated and already having children of my own. The next day, she began messaging me incessantly online, to the point that I had to mention that I was working and I'd be happy to chat again later at night. We video called again, and the discussion was easy and conversation flowed. She again mentioned having a family, and I told her that she should pursue that, as that's greatly rewarding, but I didn't want to lead her on and that I couldn't be that for her. She was immediately wounded and upset, claiming that I was insensitive and assuming too much. I apologized and said I knew that a family was important to her and that the last guy was awful, but I just wanted to be upfront and there would be no romantic involvement between us. We wished each other good night and ended the call. The next day, she messaged me briefly about how... That was interesting. Anyways, where was I? The next day, she messaged me repeatedly about how hurt she was and emailed me a letter that she had written to her sister. In it was a lengthy rant about how insensitive I was, and it included huge leaps of logic and a few outright fabrications about what I had said or my intentions. I responded simply by saying I was sorry she was hurt. I was only trying to be honest, that I truly did enjoy our conversations, but given how upset she was, I thought it was best that we didn't speak that night. She replied immediately, demanding we talk. I ignored the emails. During dinner, she attempted to contact me via Line. I refused the call and turned off my phone. When I returned home from visiting my sons and turned my phone back on, There were 8 missed line calls and over 25 messages, each more irate and incoherent than the last. I immediately unmatched on Tinder, blocked her online, deleted the conversation, and blocked her email on Google. As my Instagram was linked on Tinder, I've since unlinked it, she began messaging me there, demanding to be unblocked. I blocked her there as well as Twitter, where she also found me. The next day, her family members began emailing me, advocating for me to speak to her and unblock her. I replied that I didn't know her, we had only spoken twice, we had no relationship, and that I was not interested in speaking to her again. I mentioned that her gross overreaction was a troubling sign and that it was possible that she needed mental health help. I implored them to help her in any way they could. I then asked them never to contact me again and later blocked the email. Yes, again, in hindsight, I see that I should not have responded to this email at all. Later that same day, another relative emailed me, obviously written by her, and said that she was going to sue me under Japanese law for defamation of character for saying she needed mental health help. I deleted and blocked the email. So, how effed am I? I feel like it's an empty threat, but she did say she was a human rights lawyer, and she strikes me as the type with a lot of time on her hands and a bunch of hurt that needs to be put somewhere. Oh my goodness. And this was posted 3 years ago. Oh man. I wonder if they got sued or not. This would be quite the crazy case if I'm being honest. And of course there is a comment down below that says, for future reference, stop deleting stuff. Block them all you want, but now you no longer have any evidence of just how irrational and aggressive she has been. So if she really is crazy enough to try to sue you, you have no counter evidence. Oh man, well, I'm thinking just in the court of law, I'm not sure this exactly would hold up. Like defamation for saying that someone needs mental health help? Publicly, you know what I mean? It's not like you're going on like a press report and say like, hey, this woman needs mental health. Like it's just like responding to an email from quote unquote a relative, right? I don't know. That just sounds insane. Like they spoke twice. Well, first of all, they spoke on Google Meet, which it sounds very interesting. Has anyone ever done that? Like do you guys like set up like a Google Meet, like put a time slot in the calendar, you like book an appointment, you're like, hey, we're gonna have a get to know you conversation video call at 7 p.m. Yeah, that's probably the first red flag. But oh my gosh, they spoke twice. And because OP turned this woman down and said that, there would be no romantic involvement, maybe it was the part like assuming that this woman wanted to have a family, which I guess isn't really an assumption because like they said in their first call that she mentioned she wanted to have a family, right? But maybe that like set her over the edge. But yeah, this just seems really over the top and just like, yeah, way too much time on this woman's hands. If I were the original poster, I think after this woman begins like constantly messaging online the day after the video call, I don't know if I would actually have a second video call, to be honest. And yeah, definitely would not reply to any of the emails after that. But I mean, assuming that there's no follow-up on this post, hopefully this person did not actually get sued, and it seems like they definitely did dodge a bullet, right? Rather be able to learn this stuff early and step out of the way than go on 10 dates, be somewhat committed, and then have this behavior begin to show up, right? But yeah, dangers of Tinder, I suppose. If any of you are on that app, just be warned. There are plenty of very, very interesting individuals on the internet. So Stay safe out there. Story number 2. This is another thread on Reddit, and this is actually from r/AskSingapore. And the post is, do you have any dating /funny/awkward stories from dating apps? And this is actually a reply to this post. And this is from user Black Chili, posted 1 year ago. I've got a good one. It was my first ever Tinder experience about 6 years ago. Matched with a decent looking lady, made a reservation at a restaurant and met her there. She looked nothing like her photo. I figured I'd just be polite and enjoy a nice dinner anyway. Our conversation soon flows into why we ended up on Tinder. She says she actually had a recent bad breakup, and because her boyfriend's girlfriend told her that her boyfriend was actually married. Read that again, there's no typo. Boyfriend's girlfriend told her that her boyfriend was actually married. She was dating someone who had a girlfriend and a wife. She then told me she had no idea because the guy looked a lot younger than what he actually was. I asked how old the guy was and she said 50. I asked if she had a pic of him and she showed me a pic of a 60-year-old guy. What? I had enough of the drama and I told her I appreciated the date, but we weren't going to meet again. I'd rather be upfront about it than ghost someone. I said, I'm heading home, paid the bill, and headed for my Grab pickup point. As I waited for the Grab, I realized she was still standing next to me. She said, "So where are we going?" I replied, "I'm going to my home and you're going to your home," whilst literally signaling with my two hands, going further apart. I then headed home. The next day, ding dong, my doorbell rang. I wonder what's happening, check my video feed, and it's the same girl. She found out where I live. I used my home as my office address, which was listed on my website. She was literally shouting at me through the video feed, asking why I didn't text her again. I reminded her not so politely that I stated clearly we weren't seeing each other again. She starts crying. I turn off the video feed and never hear from her again. Anyways, 2 months later, I ended up meeting my wife on Tinder, and we've been married ever since, so it's been great. What? What did I just read? Okay, can we start with boyfriend's girlfriend told her that her boyfriend was actually married. So this woman that this guy is on a date with recently broke up because they were dating someone who had another girlfriend and a wife. So this guy that this girl was dating was married and had 2 girlfriends. And when OP asked how, this could happen, she told them it's because this guy looked a lot younger than how old he actually was. And when she showed OP a picture of the guy she just broke up with, she said he was 50 years old and the picture was of a 60-year-old guy. I don't know. It's just like a dumpster fire in all scenarios. Every single aspect of this is just a flaming dumpster fire. Oh my goodness gracious. Now, I don't know. I've never used Tinder or Hinge or any dating app of the sorts. But are you not allowed to have a conversation before you meet in person? How does this work? Wouldn't you have at least some sort of baseline conversation? You get to know each other at least a little bit before you guys decide to meet up? Or I guess some people just prefer to do all of that in person. I guess you just match and you're all right, let's meet up. But oh my goodness, this is just wow. 2 stories in and looks like 2 bullets dodged, because that is crazy. And then the fact that The OP says, okay, I'm heading home, leaves, gets to their grab point, and then the woman is like following him. And is like, where are we going? That is crazy. And then shows up outside of their house. This just feels like a story that could have gone so much worse. In fact, like just reading about it and thinking about it now, I feel like this guy got off extremely lucky. Like the fact that she knows where like this guy lives. And then I guess the most funny part about this is he basically just tells her like, yo, F off. And she starts crying. And then he turns the video feed off. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, that sounds a little bit mean to me. But hey, I mean, she did show up outside of his house. Like, it literally stalked him, right? So I suppose so. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that could have been like provoking her, you know what I mean? Like, if she's willing to go to the lengths of showing up or finding his address, showing up outside of his house because he didn't respond to her messages afterwards, like, think about what else she could have done. What other lengths she could have gone to. That is just, oh my God. Yeah, that is horrifying. That is absolutely horrifying. I wish you all watching this video will never have to experience anything like that in your lifetimes, because this is very scary. Let's move on to story number 3 here. Okay, we're gonna take a break from true horror stories. Okay, we're gonna go back once again to r/no sleep, because this one is related to the theme, but you have to remember r/no sleep is not true horror stories, but they are well-written horror stories, right? So I think you guys will enjoy this one. The title is called My Sister's Ex-Boyfriend Keeps Showing Up at Family Events. She's been dead for 2 years. And this is posted by user GripZ. When my sister Lisa died 2 years ago, our family changed forever. We weren't perfect before. Who is? But Lisa's death fractured us. My dad barely speaks anymore. My mom busies herself with every charity event she can find. And I've been stuck, angry, looking for someone to blame. Lisa was the glue that held us together. She was warm, outgoing, always laughing, the kind of person people gravitate to. She loved hiking, photography, and the outdoors. Her death, officially ruled an accident, was almost poetic. She slipped while hiking and fell into a ravine. At least, that's what the police report said. But if that's true, why does it feel like her ghost never left? Lisa's ex-boyfriend, Matt, was never part of our family. He and Lisa dated for about a year before she broke it off. She said he was controlling, obsessive, constantly texting, showing up unannounced, making passive-aggressive comments when she spent time with her friends. I remember her joking about it once, calling him my stage 5 clinger. It wasn't funny. Not really. After the breakup, Matt didn't take it well. He kept texting her, leaving voicemails, even sending her flowers at work. She brushed it off, said he'd get bored eventually. I thought she was right. Until the funeral. Matt didn't come to the service, thank God, but a week later, he showed up on our doorstep. It was a rainy Thursday. My mom opened the door and there he was, holding a bouquet of lilies, Lisa's favorite. I just wanted to pay my respects, he said. His voice was soft, his head tilted like he was trying to look vulnerable. My mom, who has never been good at saying no, let him in. Matt sat on our couch talking about Lisa as if he knew her better than we did. He described her laugh, her smile, the way she always ordered pancakes with extra syrup. My dad stayed silent, his jaw tight. When Matt finally left, I asked my mom why she let him in. He's grieving too, she said. But I couldn't shake the feeling that Matt wasn't grieving. He was lurking. Over the next few months, Matt kept appearing. He showed up at family barbecues, holiday dinners, even my dad's birthday party. always uninvited, always with some excuse. Your mom said it was okay, he'd claim, or I thought Lisa would have wanted me there. My parents, blinded by their own grief, let it slide. He's harmless, my mom said. He just misses her. But it wasn't harmless. Not when he started asking questions. Last Christmas, Matt cornered me in the kitchen. She was different with me, you know? He said, leaning against the counter. I stiffened. What's that supposed to mean? He smiled, that thin, unsettling smile I'd seen so many times. She told me things she wouldn't tell anyone else. Like what? His smile widened. Like how she wasn't scared to die. That night, I went through Lisa's journals. She was the type to write everything down. Her thoughts, her plans, even little grocery lists. Most of it was normal Lisa stuff. Song lyrics, doodles, random observations. But then I found the entry. I think Matt's been following me. He won't stop texting. Keeps saying he knows something I don't. I'm starting to feel like I can't shake him. I showed it to my mom, expecting her to finally see reason. But she waved it off. Lisa was dramatic sometimes, she said. I'm sure it's nothing. A few days later, I saw Matt's car parked down the street. It wasn't the first time. I'd noticed it before, idling near the corner, but I convinced myself it was a coincidence. This time, though, I knew. He wasn't watching our family. He was watching me. Last week was my dad's birthday. Matt showed up holding a gift he claimed Lisa would have bought. A coffee table book about hiking trails. I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted him outside, away from my parents. What the hell are you doing here? I snapped. His smile didn't falter. Paying respects, he said. Lisa broke up with you. She wanted nothing to do with you. Why can't you just let her go? His eyes darkened. She told you that? Yes. He took a step closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. She told me a lot of things too. Things she didn't tell anyone else. Then he said something I'll never forget. I was there, you know, on the trail. I felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. What? He smiled again, a cold, empty thing. She didn't fall. She looked me in the eyes and asked me to let her go. My stomach churned. You're lying. He tilted his head, studying me. Am I? Ask yourself this. If she slipped, why didn't she scream? I called the police that night. I told them everything. The stalking, the journal, his confession. When they went to his apartment the next morning, it was empty. No furniture, no clothes, no sign he'd ever lived there. It's been a week now. I haven't told my parents what he said. I don't know if they'd believe me. Every night, I double-check the locks. Every night, I sit in my bed, clutching my phone, too scared to sleep. Last night, I finally decided to look through Lisa's journals again. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I missed something. Maybe I was looking for answers. But this time, there was something new. The last page, which had been blank before, now had a single sentence scrawled across it in jagged black ink. He's not watching. He's inside. That is certainly very, very creepy and unsettling story. Now you have to remember this is from r/no sleep, right? So is this true? Seems to be somewhat of a few supernatural twists involved in this, but this story is certainly extremely well written, I would say. Yeah, certainly does give the chills when you do read this. And of course, there are comments about this. Yeah, one user posted, the thing is, there are lots of people that have and do this, and no one believes them, which is just food for thought. Although this specific story may not be, exactly true, there are certainly countless cases of stories like this that are true. Another user posted, our friend called the police 3 times saying she thinks someone is living in her attic. They looked once but only popped their heads in. By the end of the month, my friend was unalived by the weirdo the police now found in her attic, which is crazy. Now, of course, that doesn't exactly have anything to do with Valentine's Day or dating, but my goodness gracious. There are plenty of creepy stuff that people will go the lengths to do, as we've already learned from the first 3 stories, right? But, whew. I'm sorry, by the way, if you're on your hunt, if you're watching this video and you're on the hunt for a romantic interest, if you're on the search for your love life, please don't let this, dissuade you from fulfilling your journey. I fully believe in you. Not everyone is like this. There are plenty of bad fish in the ocean, but do your due diligence and, I'm sure you will find someone meant for you, okay? But just know, these things do happen. Now, of course, all of these 3 stories we've gone through so far have been stories of people who are meeting others, meeting, new people, potentially going on Tinder, looking for people they've never met before. But this story is actually one that I saw on Instagram, I think. Have you guys ever seen like those Minecraft parkour videos where they do like, am I the asshole? And it's just like the robot voice reading it out with like the subtitles on screen. I actually found this one while I was scrolling on Instagram, but I did search on Reddit and this is a true post actually. This is real. And I thought this one was actually very interesting as well as a little bit unsettling though. This one is from r/am I overreacting, posted 1 month ago, and the title is, Am I overreacting after I found out my boyfriend's online friend group I became a part of 2 years ago has been just him the whole time? And this is posted from Mindless Tennis 4045. I guess I should have been less oblivious, but since a little before we started dating in 2022, I was added to my boyfriend's, just friend at the time, 3-person Instagram group chat with what he explained were some of his closest online friends. The 2 other accounts seemed like real people because they had real followers and comments on their posts, and drastically different aesthetics/looks to them. We eventually made a Discord server for us, and that alone was convincing enough since multiple times we'd all been active at the same time. We never voice chatted, but I used to never voice chat either, so I didn't think twice. The group got closer though as more and more time passed since I was first added to their group chat, and last month we got together and planned a research trip to Hawaii for August. We live on the east coast of the US. Like, we booked and everything. So imagine to my surprise when I'm over at his house tonight and his computer is open and I just want to log into my Google Docs when I accidentally stumble across, first of all, follower bot sites and also him logged in and chatting with me as one of the individuals I thought I had become close with. I just got a sinking feeling. I didn't jump to the idea that they could be fake either. I was like, maybe he just has their logins since they're all so close and is way too interested in their messages. But then I noticed their only chats were with the group chats and the server. And the real kicker was, the email address it was signed up under was his backup email with his full name. I quite literally snooped until he got out of the shower and caught me, which I'm not saying was right of me, but I couldn't help myself. During my snooping, I gradually became devastatingly confident that he wasn't behind just one, but both of the accounts. I've never seen his face so red, and he just absolutely panicked and started shouting at me to get out of his business. I couldn't even form the right words to say to him. In the end, I just walked out of his apartment sobbing. It's very early in the morning, I get that. But this screenshot is what he has to say, and I'm starting to feel crazy. Am I overreacting about my discovery? And attached to this post is this screenshot here. Which, oh my goodness. As you can see, OP says, I just want to know why. When it finally came time for the Hawaii trip, how were you going to explain that? What were you thinking? And the dude replies, you know something I've noticed about you? Okay, first of all, that's already a super red flag. That is not what you want to be seeing as your first sentence to a reply. You can never just be calm, and there always has to be an issue. I know you were raised in a volatile environment and still have a lot to relearn about healthy relationship dynamics, but it's like you thrive on chaos only. And we were gonna see Wicked tonight. I guess there goes that. What? You can't be serious. I deserve answers. I'm honestly so creeped out. Basically, half of my life for the past 2 years has been a complete and total lie, and you are behind all of it. Okay, don't be dramatic. You know this isn't a big deal. You're just giddy to harp on this and make it a bigger issue. You know, I know we're supposed to be reviewing horror stories, true horror stories here, not, am I overreacting? But this is truly a freaking terrifying situation to find yourself in. Because imagine you're 2 years deep into a relationship, and all of a sudden you just realize this friend group that you've had is just all fake. Your boyfriend has been role-playing other people, and when you confront them about this, they're like gaslighting you, saying it's not a big deal, and you have a trip booked to Hawaii with them, which is just insane. I'm surprised she didn't find out about it sooner. Honestly, yeah, a little bit. Like, how dedicated would this guy have had to be to, like, if they're all having like a conversation, does he have to be like logged in on multiple different devices to like reply on one, and then like switch over to like this other account and like start typing, and then like they're like replying to each other as well? Which is like, how does that even work? How does someone pull that off for 2 years? And then like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah. Like, they've never talked about the friend group like offline. Like they're like been texting on their phones, and she's like, oh, how come, they never reply when I'm with you, but they only ever reply when you're away or something like that? I don't know. Maybe, just a little bit oblivious. Maybe they just didn't chat that much. Not really, big Discord users or anything like that, but I don't know. Still, if true, this is crazy. And there is a comment that says here, yeah, this is not okay. I'm blown away that this is actually real, because what? How could someone do that to you, your partner of all people? Like, was he ever planning on telling you, or just letting it right out? What does he gain from this? So many things running through my mind, but the most disgusting factor is how he responded, and honestly sounds so manipulative and like he's deflecting instead of owning up to his actions. Oh my goodness. Another comment says, I just want to point out that this level of premeditated and targeted manipulation, complete with a textbook example of gaslighting when discovered by the target, is extremely concerning behavior. If this is indeed real, then OP should be very concerned for their safety and put as much distance between themselves and this individual. Even if it weren't real, anyone who experiences anything like this should take it seriously and proceed with caution. Very similar situations to what was described in this post have ended tragically for the targeted individual. The kind of people that do this kind of thing are unhinged, but not stupid, and that makes them very dangerous. Oh my lord. No, not even overreaction. I feel, if anything, it's quite the underreaction. Like, girl, put as much distance between you and this guy as possible, Do not, turn off your Find My Friends. Delete Snapchat, turn your Snap Maps off or something like that. And just get away. Do not reply anymore. Do not, holy. Okay, maybe not completely disappear, but still. I don't know, man. I don't know. 2 years is quite a long time. Especially in these days. 2 years is a long time. But anyone who would lead you on like this for 2 years, pretend to be your entire friend group and not tell you is just, oh my God, that's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in there. That's for sure. Well, that is 4 Reddit horror stories here. And of course, entry number 5. Shall we take a look at some of your experiences in the wide open ocean of dating and see what experiences some of you guys have had? As you can see, this is the Discord server. We're not going to go through every single one because as you can see, there is quite a lot. But if you'd ever like to, join in the future, if we ever open anything up for, more submissions going forward, the link is down below. Just wanted to, let you guys know that. Okay, so I think this first one that we are going to review here is actually from Amy here. And this isn't exactly a dating story, but apparently this did happen on Valentine's Day. So perfect anecdote for us to be reading through here today. Amy, is Amy here in chat? Hello? Hey, all right. This happened back in my first year of college when I was unfortunately assigned to a triple. Even more unlucky, in my opinion, I had the only bottom bunk. On Valentine's Day, both of my roommates were having a night out with their significant others, leaving me with the dorm all to myself for the evening. When I was settling in for the night, I remembered that one of my roommates had a tendency to forget her keys, and I didn't want to have to open the door for her if she returned and couldn't get in, so I kept the door unlocked, shut off my lights, and went to bed. At around 3 a.m., I was awoken by some movement next to me as I felt my bed dip. I froze, snapping awake. Someone had just climbed into my bed. In the silence of the night, I could hear nothing but the sound of my racing heart trying to beat out of my chest. I lay there thinking about who this could be or what they could want, when a cold hand touched my arm. Nope! I braced myself and reached over this person to turn on the light. This better be my roommate, drunk AF, I thought, coping hard. I hear an irritated groan from my roommate in the top bunk as I flick on the lights. I close the lights again. This is not one of my roommates. Who is this? The brief moment of light allowed me to see that it was a girl. I relaxed a little and asked her who she was. She didn't answer my question and asked me if I was all right instead. I was thoroughly confused and didn't answer either. She then gets out of my bed, takes my jacket off my chair at my desk, and leaves. Once she's gone, I realized I was drenched in sweat from the absolute panic she caused me. Come morning, I tell my roommate about this and the fact that the jacket she took was an Attack on Titan jacket I really liked. She goes to find this girl in my jacket. To this day, I do not know what had this girl behaving like that, but I got my jacket back and we've always locked the door from then on. What in the world? Okay, I have a question. Since we have Amy here in chat with us, how did your roommate know who this girl was? Like, how did they find this girl to get the jacket back? Because you said you didn't know them, right? And I'm assuming you didn't really get to see their face either. She was room hopping the night before, so she made a name for herself. What the heck? Goldilocks IRL. Oh my god. Bro, you got Goldilocks door hopping in your room. Except the big bear was home this time. Oh my lord. Yeah, that is crazy. I wonder if like anyone ever found like what is this girl thinking? Just trying dorm rooms? Because like you gotta think, you can't know if the door is unlocked from the outside. So she had to have been like going around trying the handles to get in. And then after finding an open door, crawling into a bed with someone else is actually insane. Well, I'm glad to hear that nothing too terrifying came out of this. Of course, I would recommend if you are staying in a dorm room or any apartment, any room in general, I would suggest locking your doors, to be honest. You know, if your roommate forgets their keys, hey, that's their problem, okay? That's their problem. It's not yours. You don't gotta compromise safety, all right? I met her again later when getting my jacket back, and she said she didn't remember anything. Oh, man. Well, thankfully, you came out of this situation relatively unscathed. Yeah, this definitely reminds me a lot of another situation I had. Actually, in this very apartment, not too long ago. Thankfully, I didn't have anyone crawl into my bed or anything like that. But so I woke up like around noon, a little bit after noon. And I come into my office as I do every day to turn on my computer and start doing work. And I notice, hey, what the heck? That case that I have behind me, as well as Antony, is like moved, and Antony is like on the ground. And I'm like, huh? I don't remember moving this last night before I went to bed. And then I walk out to my living room and I noticed that my clothes, like my drying rack, I have like a bamboo drying rack that I set up. It's like, you know, hang like my pillowcases and stuff after I do laundry. It's like moved from outside like my patio. And I'm like, I did not do this. What is going on? Clearly, like someone has been in my apartment while I was asleep. And I look around, nothing is like gone. Nothing has been moved. Nothing like of value disappeared. That makes me a little bit more like, okay, still not very comfortable because obviously someone's been in here that I didn't know about. But like, it wasn't like I wasn't like broken into, right? It wasn't like a robber. So I'm like, okay, must have been like the landlord or like maybe like maintenance or something. Because I also noticed like, they moved that as well as like something outside of my balcony window. So they must have been trying to access the balconies, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this has to be maintenance, right? But I call my like property manager and I'm like, yo, did like someone come into like my apartment like this morning? Like what is happening here? And they were like, oh yeah, we actually had maintenance go through and like inspect all like the patios, but like the thing is, I never got a notification of this. I never got an email or anything like that, which is like, just imagine you wake up and stuff in your apartment is moved. Like just knowing someone's been in your apartment while you're asleep and you don't know about it. That is so, I don't know. That's like actually one of the creepiest experiences ever. Why would they not knock? So the thing that happened was, the property manager sent out an email the day before and they had like notified the residents of like this building that, hey, we're going to do like inspections. So we're going to be like coming into these apartments. So if you're at like work or if you're like home, like, you know, just heads up, this is going to be happening. What happened was apparently my email was like taken off of the mailing list. So I wasn't getting any updates about like anything going on. So yeah, I had no notice. And like the thing is, I wouldn't even know that I was off of the like email list either because I'm not getting any emails. How am I supposed to know that I'm not getting an email that I'm supposed to be getting? But probably unsubscribed. No, I wasn't unsubscribed. I think my email was just like deleted or something like that. But yeah, it was holy. Why did they come to your office though if they weren't supposed to check the balcony? It's because there is a balcony behind this. You guys can't tell because I always keep the blinds shut, but there's actually a window and like a big sliding glass door that leads out to like a second balcony behind me. So yeah, they were checking the stuff out there. But yeah, pretty crazy, pretty crazy. And this is the reason why, alongside the fact that my freaking package got yoinked. I'm pretty sure a package I ordered got yoinked over the weekend, as well as our neighbor actually across from the hall from us apparently got robbed by like maintenance or something like that. Like apparently maintenance came in to fix some stuff and she wasn't home, and then when she came back, she said like 5 Chanel bags were missing or something like that. Which is goodness. So yeah, I'm getting a Google Nest and I'm gonna install it outside of my door because no more stuff like that happening. Stay safe. Lock your doors, people. Lock your doors. Anyways, story number 2. All right, Sin Daisy, you here? Gonna go through this very long story that you left here. So this is indeed from one of our chatters, Sin, in the chat. And they have titled this, "I can't make this story any shorter, I'm sorry." Very interesting title, but I suppose we'll go through it regardless. This didn't happen on Valentine's Day, but I remember it's February for sure. It's not that creepy, but I will never forget about this weird experience, and I don't even know how to trust this whole situation. I have a best friend who went out with a guy for a few months, but they broke up in early February. My friend instantly moved on and had little sparks with my neighbor who is also a classmate of ours. Her ex is quite close to me. We'll call him John. We're good friends, and the neighbor too is like a brother to me. After the breakup happened, her ex only knows that the reason behind it is because she wanted to focus on school, and I too was deceived by that reason. The next 2 days we had group work. At the same time, my group came to my house and my neighbor's group went to his house to work separately. After both our groups finished in the afternoon, the 2 groups hung out at my place for the rest of the day. While chilling, I noticed my friend keeps texting someone on her phone while giggling and all, and also my neighbor. I'm kind of sus that they're actually texting each other, but I shrugged it off. At the end of the day, when everyone left, my neighbor stayed and asked me, "Is your best friend really available now?" And I was like, "Oh, well, last time she broke up because she wanted to focus on her studies." He then said, "I wonder if it's too fast to ask her out. Do you think it's okay?" I was a little confused because he somehow dodged what I had just said, but I told him it's all up to him. We talked about this for like 5 minutes when all of a sudden I got a message from John. The message was short but formal, which is not really normal. We texted like, "Hello." What? We texted like, "Hello." "Hey, are you a friend of John?" "Yeah, who is this?" "I'm the guardian of John since he was little." "Oh, how may I help you?" "Thank you for being a friend for John." I paused for a bit and showed the text to my neighbor. I was like, is he pranking me? Why is he talking so formally? Or is this his mom? My neighbor was also confused by it. We just stared at each other. I told my neighbor to text him too and see if he responded the same way or if he was just goofing around with me, because he doesn't know that my neighbor and I are at the same place right now. So my neighbor texted him, "Yo, hello. John, why are you so formal?" "I'm not John." "Who are you then?" "I'm John's guardian." The messages came fast. When I sent the message, it was instantly being read like our chat room was always open. I got a really bad feeling, but I didn't want to think about it in a supernatural way. I was still thinking that it was like his mom or someone else, so I messaged him again to confirm. "I'm sorry for asking, but are you the mother of John?" "No, I'm his childhood friend." "Oh, why are you using his phone?" "I'm his guardian." I got shivers down my spine for some reason. It was like 7 p.m., not too late, but my house was quiet, and that added more to the uneasy feeling. My neighbor was also confused and kind of scared at the same time. I blocked him after that and just told my neighbor that I'm not in the mood now, so he went home. Later that night, around 8 p.m., my neighbor texted me saying that John asked me to unblock him. When I unblocked him, I asked if it was truly John speaking, and he said yes. He said that he was taking a nap and apologized for what happened. When I asked him what the hell just happened and who I was speaking to, he only replied, "My childhood guardian. It is not a human, and I don't know why it texted you." That night, my friend texted me telling me that she was now official with my neighbor. All of the timing was so fast and weird. It disturbs me how John could text me right when my neighbor was planning to ask my friend out, and all of that happened in the same night. They became the most toxic relationship I ever witnessed with my own eyes, and I lost my best friend from that. She's alive, just betrayal because apparently it's love over friendship. Until today, I don't know if I should trust his words or no. I mentioned this again once a few years ago, and he only told me that he does have something following him since when he was a kid, which, to be honest, in my country, this is common. What in the roller coaster of a ride did I just read? Okay, so let me get this straight. So you and your best friend are obviously friends. You have a childhood friend who's your neighbor, and you have John, who is your best friend's ex-boyfriend. So your best friend breaks up with John and then really quickly starts getting together with your childhood friend, aka your neighbor. And when your neighbor slash childhood friend is consulting you about whether or not they should ask out your best friend, John, your best friend's ex-boyfriend, texts you, and it's like his guardian, but the guardian isn't a human? Did you ever get any more clarification on that? Like how, if it's like a spirit, how could a spirit send a text message? What exactly is this guardian? Is John just like making this whole thing up? Maybe John caught wind that your childhood best friend was gonna go out with your neighbor and just like decided to message you? I don't know, man. That is kind of creepy. It is kind of creepy. The fact that you blocked John, kind of funny. But god damn, that sounds like a very messy triangle. If I'm being honest, that sounds like a rather messy triangle there. He only once told me his parents are interested in old dolls. And he has a lot at home. Oh my god, why did you have to add dolls to this story, bro? Why did you have to add old creepy dolls in this? Oh my lord. Well, I hope John doesn't tell his guardian his phone's password. And I hope his guardian doesn't start texting random people once again. Yeah, quite the unsettling experience. Moving on to our third and final viewer submission of today's episode. We have a submission from Lucy. A couple months back, I got into online dating platforms. I am an introvert who can't initiate conversations IRL, so I decided to try my luck somewhere else. There, I met this guy. We shall call him Smiles. Smiles and I got to talking, and it was all good. Like, more than amazing, actually. We exchanged our social media handles and moved off the dating app too. We found out that we had a lot in common and everything seemed to be going smoothly. A couple weeks after that, we decided to go on a date, meet in person, and our meeting point was a mall. Now, the day before the date, we decided to call each other just so we'd be more comfortable on the date, and we ended up talking for 2+ hours. He told me how easy it was to talk to me and that he was just in his car parked in the garage, talking to me because he didn't want to end the call. He even said he was really excited to meet me. He dropped me off at home, etc., etc. After the call ended, I was a bundle of happiness, kicking my feet up in the air and feeling really excited for the next day. Fast forward to the day of the date. I got all dressed up, my relative dropped me off at the mall, and here I am waiting. I sent Smiles a text saying, "I'm here. Let me know when you come." And I waited. And waited. And kept waiting. for 2 hours more than our scheduled time. I ended up calling my best friend, asking her how long I'm supposed to stay before I realize I've been ghosted. She immediately called her brother and asked, to which he said 1 hour. I felt like a fool. My first thought was, is he okay? What if something happened? What if he got into an accident or something came up with his family? But I also realized that even if something happened, it only takes a few seconds to send a text. So I left for home, heartbroken, mad, and disappointed. It was the first and hopefully only time that I got ghosted. Certainly not the traditional horror story, but still a horror story, I'm sure, for some of you guys. Lucy, my deepest condolences. I wish you better luck in the future. I'm surprised, like, I don't know. I feel like I would have like sent a message, or I would have been like communicating on the way there, right? But damn, this dude sent nothing. Yeah, I wonder if like they ever got a follow up with them, like explaining what happened, or if this person like actually just blocked them on everything. Like it's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Well, I hope none of these stories deter you from trying your luck. But if there is one thing that we've learned from today's episode, the moral of the video will have to be, don't trust Tinder. Meet your love interests through real life activities, right? Or off dating apps. Oh my God. Should I share with you guys my own most horrifying dating story? Let me think. Okay, this isn't more of a horror story. It's a pretty embarrassing story. But to me at the time, this was horrifying, okay? This was possibly one of the worst experiences that could have ever happened. Okay, so this is a story that happened to me. And this was my freshman year of high school. Almost 10 years ago at this point. This was 9 years ago. Oh my, it's been 9 years. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's crazy. But anyways, yes, this happened to me. I was a freshman in high school. This was 9 years ago. But it was like a weekend. I believe this was sometime in October, but I had been like talking to this girl and we decided to like go on a date. This was like one of our first dates, I believe. And now keep in mind, yes, this is freshman year of high school. I was like, how old are you when you were in freshman in high school? You're like 15? Yeah, like I was like 15 at the time, maybe. And I don't know why, but I feel like when you're like a freshman in high school, you never really want to tell your parents like, oh, I'm like gonna go on a date with this girl. I don't really know what I was thinking. I was just like, okay, I don't want to tell my parents, right? I'm also kind of like, what if my parents are like, no, you can't go? I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not gonna tell my parents. So what I tell my parents instead is I'm going to the movies with some of my friends. It's like a group of my friends and like, we're going to watch this movie and we're like, it's going to be cool. And my parents were like, okay, yeah, you can go, drop you off there and stuff like that. So it all works out. I get dropped off at the movies. I don't even remember what movie we watched. I think it was like some horror movie that came out in 2016. But it's great. It's good. We watched the movie. And afterwards, there's like this local ice cream shop in the plaza nearby. So we head over there and it's going on. It's a cool hangout. As cool of a hangout as a freshman in high school can get. But it's going well. It's going well. And we're getting ice cream in the shop. And all of a sudden, like I look down at my phone. There's a text from my mom. And she's like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just like at the ice cream shop with my friends. The movie finished. Like, I'll let you know when we're done. And my mom replies, where are you now? And I'm like, oh no, what the heck? What do you mean? And then as I'm like reading that text, I'm like showing, the person that I'm on a date with. And then I turn around. I see my mom and my dad walking down the street from like outside. Like I'm looking out the window. I see my parents walking down the street. And I'm like, oh, what the? No way. And keep in mind, like, I didn't tell my parents, like, I was, like, you know, going on a date or anything like that. I didn't tell them anything about this. I told them I was with my friends and, like, with my friend group. And I'm just, like, panicking. And then I tell the girl, oh, my God, quick, hide in the bathroom. So the girl goes and she hides in the bathroom of the ice cream shop. And my parents come in. And I'm like, oh, why are you guys here? Why are you, what's going on? And my mom's like, oh, so where are your friends? And I'm like, you know, like they all just like left early and I'm just like getting ice cream now and then like was gonna go home. And my mom is like, we saw the girl, you know? Oh my God. Actually end my life right now. In the end, the girl had to come out and meet my parents. And it was a rather awkward conversation after that. I feel so sorry for this girl. Possibly the most terrifying dating experience I have ever had. I did get a second date after that, though. I just want to point that out. I just want to say, did get a second date. So anyways, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for making it to the end of this video. If you'd like to, you know, submit any more stories of your own in the future, please do consider joining our Discord. Or if you'd like to watch these live on stream, it's twitch.tv/Anthony Chen, of course. But yeah, plenty of terrifying stories to go around. On this Valentine's Day, I wish you the best of luck, whether you're going on your first date, whether you are, you know, maybe not going on a date. It's perfect. You have this video to keep you company while you're alone at home. It's all good. No problems with that. Yeah, thank you very much for your support. Wish you the best of luck in your dating life in the future, at least if you're watching this alone. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.